Hey, what's up guys? Diplex here again. Welcome back to the Great War Realism Mod for Men of War Assault Squad 2. You guys have been asking for some World War 1 content, so here we go. Today is a battle set in the winter of 1914 and 1915. So it's early war. We're not going to see any tanks. We're not going to see too many machine guns. We're going to see some early war German uniforms as well as French uniforms from that same period. And I think we've got a pretty stunning map ahead of us. It's a very thin and long map, so it's going to act like sort of a frontline map. So we're going to see layers and layers of French defenders. There's going to be artillery, machine guns, trenches, and I know this isn't during the trench warfare period here of World War I. That happened many years later, but still, trenches would be something you could create to defend a position. Of course, we wouldn't see this stretched along the entire front, but if you're defending a position for a period of time, or if you've got a city or a strategically important location, of course, you would dig trenches, you would set up defenses. So yeah, there's a trench network here on this map, but that doesn't mean that this is inaccurate to a point where it's too early for this trench warfare kind of style of fighting. So I do reserve the right to have a trench map set in this time. In fact, the workshop states that this map, or the uploader, the creator of this map, says this is Lorraine in 1915. I can't remember. I've been working on this map for like 3 hours now with the battle and all the scripting and all that, so I kind of forgot what it was called. But so yeah, I mean, he would have known, I suppose, that the map is awesome. So anyway. Or perhaps he was completely unaware of the fact that they didn't really have any major trench warfare this early in the war. I don't know. Let's not dig into that. Without further ado, let's go ahead and click start. We are going to enjoy this battle now. It kicked off instantly. And we have the Germans entering or appearing here on the right side of the screen. They too have entrenched themselves. Troops leaving the trenches now to attack the French first line of defense. We're gonna swap sides here and have a look at the French. They just lost the gunner, so we're gonna grab one of the French soldiers and crew that machine gun. I just want to keep this battle as alive and active as possible, so I think that would be really cool. There we go. That's awesome. We have French troops here among the building ruins. So I suppose they've been kind of besieging the French here for a while, which is why the attackers have their own trench line as well, and why this city is so bombarded, so heavily destroyed. That's awesome. I heard an explosion back there, so yeah, we do have artillery as well, raining down over the attackers and defenders here today. This church is totaled, but part of it is still standing. I think we're going to have a few French defenders inside put up a stand against the attacking Germans. They are about to enter the city now. Artillery dropping here and there, so you have to be cautious. You can't really do anything about it. You're either lucky or unlucky today here in this battle. And if the artillery doesn't get you, enemy rifles and machine guns surely will. I think the likelihood of surviving this battle is extremely small. The risk of dying is terrifyingly high today. But yet the soldiers push on. We heard a few Germans scream as they slowly bleed out, asking for help, but no help can be received here. Okay, let's move over to the right flank of the German attack. We have troops crawling along this trench. Look at that. How awesome is that to see the AI use the terrain to their advantage to stay low and crawl up, kind of remaining below the surface level in a way, which would, you know, obviously keep them safe from enemy gunfire up above. But right now, they seem to be reaching an end of that safely. They have to move up across this road and take the first block of this small town. We have French defenders on the right side here as well, further back. An officer leading the squad, crawling up towards the road now. Oh, Jesus! Okay, let's move over to the left flank here, where German soldiers are now battling the French here, from building to building. Grenades are being thrown. We're going to see a lot of grenades be used here in a situation like this, where you have to clear out buildings, windows, and trenches. We have enemies hiding everywhere, so this is just a grinder to get through. I hear a French machine gunner further back open up at the Germans here around the corner. People falling left, right, and center. This is absolutely horrible and brutal for all sides involved. Let's have a look at how the far right flank of the French defense is doing. They are still holding this extreme right flank. They've lost the machine gunner, but they have a few riflemen still holding. Overwhelming German firepower is going to bring the last French defenders down there on that right side. We still have one brave soldier still standing, but he won't be for long. We have a row of defenders further back, but the majority of the French defense here in the town has been focused in the center and on the left side, where we have another trench system with a field of barbed wire running through it to keep the attackers out, or at least to slow them down. If you remove all points of entry, the enemy is free to open an entry wherever they choose. If you leave a few selected entries, the enemy is more likely to choose the already made entries, where you can then focus your firepower and, you know, you have all your guns targeted at one location and artillery has been sighted and whatnot, so it's actually clever to leave a few entries where you can kind of funnel the attackers in and kill them one by one. Brutal trench combat over here. Grenades are being used. Oh, he can't really pick it up. It's slippery. Oh! And he's going to be shot dead anyway. He tried for many times, but he failed. I think he was too stressed and too panicked to act properly. The adrenaline didn't fuel him properly. In fact, it made him sloppy, and it cost him his life. What a deep analysis of a soldier trying to pick up a hand grenade in this World War I battle. Who knows why he failed? Perhaps he didn't even want to succeed. That's very morbid, but still. We have an interesting position back here. So kind of like a small graveyard. We have a machine gunner, an officer in charge. So kind of a hard point. A lot of sandbags, some good solid brick wall. So this is going to act as kind of like a center between the left and right flank here. But I have to admit, I do think the French have lost the town. They have fallen. The defenders have failed to keep the German attack out. The trenches on the right side are being cleared out. We have a few defenders still standing. Grenades are being used liberally right now. I love to watch this up close to see the rifle duels. Two grenades are thrown. Oh, he's gonna be shot dead in his back or catch a few shrapnel pieces in his rear. Somehow he died. And it looked like he wasn't shot dead, so I think it's likely the grenade killed him. Very, very cool. And then it gets quiet for a while, but we have defenders here in the rear line already engaging the Germans by the outskirts of the town. This is a whole line of French rifles and machine guns, so it's going to be brutal to try and pass this open area. And of course the field of barbed wire in front of them, I think they're going to need to choose a different approach here, but we're going to find out what the Germans do. More grenades are being used here to clear out the trenches. We have an officer leading the charge here on the center position. Pistol to pistol here, wall to wall. Oh, he's going to be shot dead. It'll be interesting to see how long this French officer can last. He is alone here. Now he's got one rifleman to his left. But they are about to be surrounded by Germans. Germans to the right, Germans to the front, Germans to the left. How long can he hold out for? We're about to find out. That's chaotic, to say the least. Grenades being used again. Oh, he's being bombarded with grenades. But he's still alive. Alright, we're gonna leave him alone for a while. It's kind of a weird sight to watch the officers use their binoculars up close and then swap to their pistols a few seconds later. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's Men of War for you. Sometimes I think they'd be better off without the binoculars, but still. Oh, another grenade is being thrown, but he's still alive. I don't understand how. There's hundreds of Germans in front of him, behind the opposite side of that wall, but still, he is still standing. Here comes the third grenade. Lands right in front of him. Let's see how he deals with that one. Oh! Third time's the charm for the Germans attacking the center point. The distance between the fighters here on this right side of the French flank is humongous compared to the distance here on the left. They are so much more up close and personal, which makes this fighting more brutal in a way. And we also see that the Germans have focused more of their manpower on their right side of the assault. It's simply offering them more cover. It's easier to maneuver closer to the enemy. The left is just open, and it's just like basically a firing range where if you step on it, you're gonna die. Look at all the Germans be gunned down here by the road. Mark! So we can see the Germans using the right flank for their attack. It looks like all the men... The town has been secured now fully by the German forces. The German army has now secured the town in its entirety. There are no French defenders remaining. So their next objective is to cross the field of barbed wire and get closer to the train station, where the next layer of French defenders await them. So they can choose to go by the trench system here on the right, or using the open here on the left side. And I think it's very unlikely that we're going to see a lot of German soldiers attempt to cross here in the open. Feels like a suicide mission to some extent, so that's why we're seeing way many more German soldiers here on the right side. But, you know, as time goes on, the French lose defenders, and the French will, however, lose defenders. It looks like the trenches here on the right side are being... Look at all the bullets impacting so close to that French soldier. He's finally brought down. We have a few more here in the trench who are right now too suppressed to even stand up and return fire. Oh, we have a... I forgot to show you guys. We have a French machine gun here. A French Hotchkiss machine gun in this small concrete bunker. I think it's such a cool position. It's very well defended. It's hard for the Germans to get a good shot in. And it's just going to be mowing down the German infantry attacking now across the open. And this is exactly what the French wanted. See, you leave a point of entry like this over here, or in fact, actually an artillery impact has made an entrance here, but still. It's going to funnel the German soldiers through and get them all killed. We have a huge group of troops here just waiting on the other side of this barbed wire. And, yeah, I think we're going to see them move up pretty soon. I think the machine gunner has one killed. Grenades are being thrown to clear up the last French defenders of this trench. In fact, there's a few more here on the right side, but the Germans, they don't know that. So this is probably going to turn out to be a pretty brutal ending for some of these men here on screen right now. Germans are inching closer, throwing grenades as they advance, keeping it safe, or as safe as possible, I suppose. Slow but steady. We also have some Germans attacking on the right side now. We can hear the whistles be blown, and oh my god, French artillery is kicking in right now. So the Germans have gained themselves a trench here on the opposite side of the railroad to use against the French, but the final defensive line is still standing. We have a field gun position on top of that mound. They are going to be shelling the Germans at full effect. We're probably going to see the German officers call in some kind of counter-artillery to help them beat the French artillery back, or at least to suppress the enemies in these trenches here. Here we have a forward position. One French field gun, this is a 75mm 1905 Schneider, I do believe. German artillery is now zeroing in at the French. Oop. Still a bit danger close to advance. But yeah, this is definitely German guns hitting the French positions here on the right flank of attack. That's a big explosion, big impact back here. This is brutal, man. This is just crazy. So the Germans have made it to the railroad. They've more or less captured the train station. Now begins the final part of the assault, which is to, well, charge across the open, clear out the trenches, and eliminate the French artillery battery. But will they succeed? Well, it looks stiff at the moment, I gotta say. This is a gnarly situation for the Germans. In fact, they've kind of come to a halt here with the assault. It just doesn't look like the Germans are going to come out of this situation, but they did secure the town. They did clear out these trenches, but the battle is gonna kind of fade out here by the train station. Of course, yeah, you're gonna hear these guns fire for 100 more times, but the Germans are going to dig in. I don't think they're going to commit to an assault, and I honestly believe we can call it a quit here. I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. Thank you for watching, and I also feel like it's more realistic to kind of like end it on a note where it doesn't have to show a clear winner or a clear loser or like have every soldier dead on the battlefield. I think it's kind of enough to just leave it like this. The Germans gained some ground, a few hundred meters today, and that's what most of World War I was like, at least when they started using trenches. You know, you could lose thousands of men gaining 100 meters of trenches, you know, in one direction or the other. It's just crazy. But anyway, thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon again. Let's have a just super quick look at the casualties. I know you guys like casualties. So we're going to mark the French in yellow and the Germans in red, and you can tell there's probably a good, I don't know, 500 men have died here in this town today, so that's crazy. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you guys soon again. Ciao.